I'm not saying you have to do it before you listen to this, because the podcast we just recorded is entertaining enough right on its own. But after you listen to this, you're going to go to YouTube, the YouTube box that you keep on your lap or on your desk. You're going to type in Bagged and Bored, B-O-R-E-D, or Pixel Brain Productions, which will lead you right to Bagged and Bored. It's a web show about a guy that owns a comic store and his employees, and it's kind of a mixed genre storytelling, and it's fantastic. Will found it, and we binge watched the first 2 episodes, and we were tickled. We laughed out loud, if you will. So today on the podcast we have show creator Matt Gaither, as well as actor and stand-up comedian Kent Carney, and actor April Singer. It's a fantastic show. It's a fantastic podcast. Listen up, twerps. It's time to get down with us with episode number 17 of the cast and crew of Bagged and Bored.
You are now a loyal follower of the Villain District Podcast.
The look. You can't give a look to signify that a podcast has started.
I don't know, has it? Has it started?
I see numbers. I think it started. Important numbers.
Well, Shakespeare said it's never not a podcast. Our whole life is a podcast.
Right.
And we are all just folks with stuff to plug.
Right.
I think it's from King Ralph.
Oh, yeah.
King Ralph.
Part 2, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Act 3, Scene 1.
Was that
Part
Ralph?
2?
Was
King
that Ralph Strikes Back? Was that?
Yes.
It was better than the original, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Totally.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. Can you elaborate on that one?
Oh, man.
So how are you guys?
We're good.
Pretty
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hanging
Good?
out, doing a podcast.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Super tight.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, my
Yay!
gosh.
No way.
I like it.
Casting some pods.
So this is what happened. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Will showed me your show. I viewed the show,
Oh, man.
On that TV.
Oh, wow.
That's true.
and boy was I tickled. So
I think that is my favorite compliment so far.
Yeah. Absolutely.
you know, the first episode opens up. We're watching. I'm like, okay, all right. This is cool. You looked familiar, but we'll get into that later.
Oh, all right.
And
Yeah, you will.
the line, "You want to get nuts?"
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just going to be full of references that I enjoy,
It's going to be good.
and this is a good place to be for me
That's right.
currently.
That's right.
And
Awesome.
I loved it. And then Matt and I met randomly on a shoot. I was doing audio for a shoot, this round table thing that you were shooting.
Yep.
And I heard you talking about Bagged and Bored. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then he was like, I was like, wait a minute, that's not your show. He's like, oh, yeah. Like, have you talked to someone about doing a podcast?
Right.
It's like, yeah, I talked to
Right.
Will. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm that too.
Already booked.
So, I'll see you then.
Yeah.
And then we came out to your shindig
Yeah.
the other night.
Yeah.
cool.
Nice.
Which was great.
It's a fun shindig.
Yeah, and it was successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
In my mind.
Was
Many
great.
shins were dug.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
So
right.
you guys had a fun time there?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
dude.
wonderful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We had a great time.
I think the only thing that could have made it better was air conditioning.
Okay.
But other than that, it was a very fun time.
Right.
Was there like some massive fan somewhere?
Towards the back where no one was sitting.
Oh, okay.
I think I was feeling that. I didn't. I
Really?
don't remember thinking, it's too hot in here. So-
Really? Well, you're one of the few.
Yeah.
I literally thought you meant like a fan of the show. I was like, I think there were quite a few fans, and then I realized, oh,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
No,
there were
like
quite
a
few
massive
fans.
one, like a 400-pound fan.
was there a guy who liked your show who eats a lot? I was,
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
I'm dumb.
So for those of you who don't know, And right now I'm speaking into the future to people who are listening
Whoa.
because right now we're talking to no one.
Right.
So these three charming young people are
That's
on a
right.
show called Bagged and Bored, and it's a show produced by Pixel Brain Productions,
Nailed it.
and it's about a comic shop owner, and it's awesome.
It is.
We're gonna put all the links and stuff to it. I know Will's probably got bukus of questions, and
Too many.
he's like, we were talking
Nice.
just yesterday. He was like, I'm gonna have to really pick and choose which questions I'm gonna ask because
Right.
I mean there are time limits to these things.
Exactly. Yeah, we can't go forever. So,
Right.
But I mean, just to get started, why don't so Matt, you're kind of you're the Kubrick of this thing, right?
Right. Yeah. I
Um,
like that.
Right. Yeah. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about just how it started for people who don't know what we're talking about so far? Yeah.
The short version, just like how Bagged and Bored
Yeah. Whatever you
came
feel.
to be.
Yeah.
Well, Pixel Brain, we're not really that old.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably, I guess, came to be like 2012, 2013-ish. And it came together. We made a short, it started off as a short film, and then it ballooned up to 60 minutes, called Zach Cooper's Epic Speedrun, which is kind of a Scott Pilgrim meets Ocean's 11 video game heist. And it was originally just supposed to be a short student film, and I recruited some extra people to help out, and they had some ideas. And before we knew it, like we put the trailer online, and different like Screw Attack kind of took notice of it, and different video game podcasts, and we were able to screen it at the Louisville Arcade Expo, MagFest in Maryland, and just different Comic Cons and stuff of that nature.
Yeah.
And then we got into a little bit of like a sophomore slump, I guess. Like we're like, oh, what do we do next? Like, is that it? Or are we going to try to do anything else? And we had a few start-stop projects, mainly stop projects. And Brian Barrow, who's the owner of The Destination, where we film Bagged and Bored, now the pieces are coming together.
Right. Right.
He was a fan of Zach Cooper, and he was like, I like the style and I like the convention videos that you guys do. And if you ever need like a location, like in a movie or anything like that involves a comic book store, please use mine. And as I've said before, when you're low budget guerrilla filmmaker, when someone just gift wraps a free location for you,
Production value.
exactly.
It looks good. It looks like a real
It
comic book
looks-
store.
It
right?
looks like
We could have
Coulda
green
fooled
screened
me.
it. We could have made a miniature. We could have done just turned my garage into a comic book store, but it just wouldn't have had that same effect. And so Brian instantly gave us a location. So we built Bagged and Bored around that.
Nice.
But I was like, we've got a great location. Who do we put in there? And Kent Carney and Jake Reaver were the first two that came to mind. We wanted to work with the comedians here in Louisville for a long time since we started editing together Zach Cooper. Like we were like, on our next project, we need to have these comedians in it because they're just so funny, so natural, so funny. And it turned out that they were doing a stand-up gig at The Destination, and it was all comic book humor and like inside jokes. And like some of it was really inside. I'm not the biggest comic book nerd, so like even though I didn't get it, like almost all of it, like it was just enough where I was just like, holy crap, like this needs to be seen like all over the interwebs and not just the back room of The Destination. So I reached out to Kent and Jake, and I was like, how would you guys like to do some sort of sketch comedy thing here at The Destination? And we did just like, it was just Jake and Kent. We called this episode 0 because it's kind of Bagged and Bored, but it's not Bagged and Bored because it was just Kent and Jake. And it was like no real script. Like it was just like, I was just like, here's how it starts and here's how it ends. Now Jake and Kent make this funny because I know you guys can tell jokes and that's what I want to happen. And then after that, I showed the rest of the guys and they were like, we need especially I showed Craig, who's the co-writer here with Bagged and Bored, and he was like, we need to make more of these right now. And so he started casting other people, and before you know it, Bagged and Bored came to be Bagged and Bored.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like you were saying, the episode 0 was more of a kind of shoot it and capture it as it happened.
Yes.
But there are so many, like, who would I compare it to? Like, kind of Edgar Wright moments.
Yeah.
Like, Edgar Wright has this way of filmmaking where it's very visually kinetic.
Yeah.
So he uses the frame as as a punchline. You know what I mean? Something pops into the screen, like, that's just a interesting, funny way of making use of what you have. And there are several moments in Bagged and Board where I'm like, it's almost like that, like when you're introduced, when Zoe's introduced. Like, it's such a Scott Pilgrim moment, like the ching, ching, like I cackled.
Yeah.
When
Thank you so much. Edgar Wright is a huge inspiration for me and the series because I've been in love with Spaced for a long time. So chances are you're going to see a lot of things heavily influenced or ripped off from Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg.
I support that. Fully support that.
Yeah. So you wanted, like, comedian. So Kent, you're a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself more an actor or a comedian? That's the worst question.
No, that's cool. I would have, like, if you'd asked me that, like, a couple years ago, I probably would have said actor. And lately, for the last few years, I've drifted more into just being a comedian as my main identity and the main thing I'm into. But that's what's nice about doing this is it's a pretty cool mixture of both.
Yeah.
I like because with stand-up comedies, you get just having the freedom to just do whatever. It's all on you, not dependent. But being part of getting to do this and being part of an ensemble and having that collaboration effort. But and what's nice is that Matt, with that cool structure, Matt also gives like us the opportunity, like, hey, for this part, make stuff up. See,
right?
think of something funny. Right. My job basically is just to just throw in references.
Yeah, right.
Lots and lots of references.
And then we'll see what works.
We'll see which one makes the cut.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know because a few people in the show do stand up, right?
Yes.
Do you do, April? Do you do stand up as well?
No.
You're just an actor.
Straight up actor.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
But several people in the show are, right? I mean, several people have comedy, outside of this, and I didn't know that until we came to your thing the other day. And I was telling jokes. I saw we had been emailing back and forth, me and Matt, about getting you guys on the podcast, and then I saw it was coming up. I was like, oh, it looks great. It's going to be out at Tim Faulkner. It's going to be fun. I was like, they're even going to have some stand-ups there. So that'll be fun. And then we got out there, and it was like, oh, it's the I see now what's going on.
The dots.
Connecting the dots.
That makes total sense.
I was actually out at the Bardstown one night, and my roommate, who's not my roommate anymore, she moved back to Minneapolis, but her boyfriend at the time he's a stand-up, and he was in town. And he signed up for
the open mic
one night at the Bardstown, and so we went to see him. And you actually were there.
Oh, cool!
You performed, and so it started out with I missed this, but there was a guy that went on stage and started reading out of this book, and he was like taking it super seriously. He ordered this big plate of nachos. And,
I heard about this actually,
and he just really he bombed really hard, and he actually just got like there was like a baby walking around, and,
and he crawled away or something. That was how the mythology changed by the time it got to me.
When I got there, I saw this guy like dressed to the nines, like running down the sidewalk. So when I got there.
I wish I could like fill it. I literally just missed the dude. I remember that happening and it being a bit like I remember it being like the diamond heist in Reservoir Dogs. Like I didn't see it happen, but it weighed so heavily on the night. Everyone was just talking about this dude who just read from a book.
Right. Well, the
and
funny
ate nachos.
thing was. Yeah, we were. He actually only ordered the nachos. It was maybe like the third act of the night, and someone in the crowd shouted out, "Is somebody not going to eat their nachos?" But next to the nachos was a little book. Yeah. The book that the guy read from.
Yes.
He left before he got his nachos. Left his book, so everyone in the room tackled those nachos. Ate the guy's nachos. There you go. Never
Are you guys
saw
sure
the-
this was not just an amazing performance art piece?
right.
Just put
We're
it out there.
Maybe
sure.
Andy Kaufman's not dead. That's
Yeah.
That's what I love about the Louisville stand-up scene is there are frequently times when I'm like, I don't know if this is terrible or brilliant. There are a lot of
line.
There are a lot of don't get me wrong. There's a lot of like really, really. I'm not just saying that. There's a lot of really fantastically just straight ahead talented people. But I think the really magical thing is when you go to the open mics, you see. I've had that thought frequently. Like this is either Andy Kaufman brilliant or like this is just a deranged human being. But either way, I'm on board.
Yeah.
It's a magical journey. I was me and Jake, who are on the show, used to do a Sunday open mic at the what's now the Laughing Derby was the Comedy Caravan at the Mid City Mall. And one time there was a guy who came on stage, like put on an orange Michelangelo mask, pulled out like an illegal pair of like for reals, like steel illegal nunchucks, and started waving them around. And like, I couldn't tell you what his set was about. He said something incoherent about child support, but he left his nunchucks on the stage, and so. Me and Jake just basically abandoned the show. We had our buddy Mark Paris. He went up to the set. We're like, Mark, go long. And then we just went outside and broke glass bottles in the alley with this guy's nunchucks. It was amazing.
Do you still have them?
No, he he didn't leave.
Oh.
He just kind of let them on the stage, and so we're like, we're gonna play with these for a while. Yeah, I think he got them back. But.
I mean, that's actually super brave because I mean, this guy owns those.
Right.
Like, this guy thinks he has a use for those in his life.
Yeah.
So, and you are messing with his property now.
Right.
So that's
You should totally call him out by name right now.
I wish I could. He was one of those like guys who I saw once and then never again. Yeah.
I've always wondered, real no nunchucks, are they like super dense and heavy? Is that the thing?
They were. Yeah. Like you held it in your hand. You're like, it's like you know how a gun has a heft. Like this is a weapon. I mean, we still treated it like it was a toy. Right. But like you felt it in your hand. Like this is. Oh man, this is not okay.
Because like I remember at the beginning of like what was it? Turtles 2,
Secret of the Ooze.
Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah.
Where he's using like the salami or something.
Oh,
right.
And he's pulling stuff down, and I'm like, how is that doing anything? Like, like getting like
Greasy
these guys
face.
are getting slapped in the face with a hot dog.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Combat cold cuts.
Oh, nice. That was it. Nice. Well played, sir.
one of these episodes
played.
needs to
Needs
go
to
with-
reference
yeah,
that.
Absolutely.
We'll get there.
Remember that.
I
Ken.
was
Remember that.
elated when he let me in episode 3. There's a really obscure Animorphs reference. I told Matt, I was like, look, I'm just gonna. I was like, if this doesn't make the cut, I understand, but just know I'm going to keep saying it every episode until it winds up on the show.
Yeah, I can't remember. What was the reference?
I referred to someone as a hork bajur.
Oh yeah, Johnny Masters.
Yes.
Here's the thing about Animorphs.
That's the best opening to a sentence.
I was going to
Say
say,
about Animorphs.
how many times has someone opened with that today on planet Earth?
Right.
Probably just you.
I can't say I've ever read an Animorphs book, but I've owned several.
Oh, wow. Just for the flip book?
The book
Right.
club that used to come to like your elementary
yeah.
school.
Yeah, that was the shit.
You guys are
Yeah.
getting out of class today to look at a bunch of really neat books.
Right.
So I'd grab that and you just flip through and flip through.
Yep.
You know, mom sent me with a $5 bill. Like, this is mine now.
Yeah.
Never gonna read it. It's about time.
That's what's
Go
great
back
about
to it.
Animorphs is that it works on different levels. Like you don't have to actually read it to enjoy it.
Right.
That is what's
Yep.
great about Animorphs.
That's the thing. That's great.
Yeah.
So,
How can you rebound from that?
I don't know. I don't think you can.
I think we're done here, you
So,
guys.
yeah, that was-
Good job.
We got to Animorphs.
I'm sorry if I
We're good.
derailed.
Yeah. No. It's
I
wonderful.
think we're right on track.
We are. Yep. We
All
got there.
aboard the Animorph Express.
Choo choo.
Right. That was pages of a book.
Everyone,
for those listening.
I made a little
That's right.
a hand gesture, but
Yeah.
you don't know that.
That's lost on you. So
It was some really good pantomime.
yeah. So we talked about Matt's process coming up with it and how it sort of got going. Kent, we talked about your comedy a little bit. April, tell us about your approach to the show, or yeah.
Oh, well, there, you guys probably saw at the premiere that, there's kind of a joke of, I'm being one of the trained actors. I show up on time. I know my lines.
Right.
That's mostly true, though.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
presented as a joke, but
I'll cop to that.
yeah. But no, I think the difference is probably they're much more at ease with the kind of loosey-goosiness of adding references and this, that, and I'm very much like, well, this is what's on the paper, so I'm going to do this.
There's no Animorphs in this.
Right. I don't know. And I don't have as many references to draw from. I'm not quite as well versed in the nerd culture as perhaps I should be. I'm trying to, though. So Zoe is a manga expert, so I've been brushing up. Craig, one of the writers, has given me a bunch of stuff to watch, and I've been doing that Kiki's delivery service, which
nice.
is delightful.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm so happy I watched that, and he actually just texted me a little while ago and is going to give me some other ones to look at. And then, the goggles. I think just once I put the goggles on, it kind of just, instantly Zoe-fies me.
Yep. When you came into the first episode is when I knew Joe would love it, just because I know you would.
Right.
But
just the visual introduction.
But the time that when you were introduced, when it's like your boots, your goggles, and then you're like leaning against the thing, and Joe laughed. I was like, he's in. That was the moment. That was the hook right there.
I'm in.
Yeah, for sure.
And for moments like that, I mean, you really do, like, with a very, like, again, kinetic style of storytelling, you really do need a lot of things on the page, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, you have to have everything kind of planned out, the shots. But I guess as you go, if you're what's the word?
Storyboarding?
Spontaneous.
Improvising?
Improvising.
There we go.
All that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Improvising.
Yeah.
It's a hard word. But if you're improvising, I guess you can just kind of go back and retrace your steps into filming that moment. So
Yeah.
set up. Question. How storyboarded, how strict are you on kind of building the visual and the scenes and the shot list and kind of stuff?
Let me put it this way. Sometimes I do have storyboards of how I envision the scene going. And then other times I just don't have time to do that. So then it stays locked up in my head and nobody gets to see what I'm going to do until the actual day, which we found out sometimes is counterproductive. And we end up, spending a little bit more time there. But there are certain things where I know, like, I'm going to shoot this. I think we actually had a joke for the first, with your introduction and Taylor's introduction, because they caught on. They were like, it seems like you're like filming the girls in chunks, like body chunks. Do you remember that? Like, it was just like, you're just filming my head, my boots, you're filming her legs. What's going on here? No one else got this special treatment. I'm just like,
because no one else wants to look at the dude's legs.
Exactly.
Let's be real.
We haven't gotten to the 5 minutes on my legs yet, so we'll get there. We'll get there.
Here's Jake's belly.
Yeah. And it's funny, like Sean Keller, who plays Adam Shanks in it, we were filming a scene in episode 4 yesterday with another new actor. Like he's kind of just like a one-off appearance in this. Maybe not. I don't want to hurt his feelings. He might come back. But he was just like, he was talking about the script, and then Sean Keller was just like, and he was with a straight face too. He's like, the script is really just a guideline. It's just there as a suggestion. It's just one giant. It's just one giant suggestion. But to answer, I do have shot lists planned out before. Some things just organically happen there where I'm like, okay, we need to definitely get it from this angle now.
That's what she said.
Yeah. I try to plan as much as I can, but when you have a full-time job and a wife and dog and all this fun stuff, there's not a whole lot of time where you can just sit down and like draw throwaway thumbnail images.
Yeah.
But I do try to at least attempt to have some sort of shot list either alongside the script or just like on a separate sheet.
Right.
So
I feel like it's one of those things where if it's not planned enough, you're probably going to end up shooting more than you need, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
in the back of your head, like, wow, what if I need this wide? What if? Whereas if it's kind of storyboarded, at least in your head, it's like, oh, I don't need that because it's going to do this, this, and this.
yeah.
You know?
And the other funny thing is one of the learning curves that I think maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the learning curves that the comedians are getting used to is we're usually, except for the most recent episode 3 with Brian Kinnison, the podcast, we are primarily just one camera shooting the whole time. I'm shooting everything. And in those first 2 episodes, like, I'll be like, okay, so I'm going to be behind this other character, so it doesn't matter so much what you're saying. I want to get the other person's reaction. But then the person that I'm not even filming their face, we won't be using that audio take or anything. They're saying stuff that's far more funnier than what they said before. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, you got to use that one. It's like, I just shot the back of your head and it's blurred and it's out of focus. You may have made Kent break character and laugh hysterically, but we can't use it.
That happens a lot.
You can't not do that.
I Jimmy Fallon it up pretty hard. I'll cop to that. But yeah.
So it's just like a rule of thumb. It's like, if the camera's not aimed at you, don't use your funniest stuff. But then it's just
Did you
the
really
opposite.
have to explain that to them?
No, apparently not. I had to.
There are cameras in these walls. You guys come on, right? So you guys have episodes 1 and 2 are up right now, right?
And
3.
3
Oh,
is
3
up.
is up.
Okay.
Yes.
3 just
Cool.
went up yesterday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't see it, because I checked the day before yesterday. So there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, 3. This is the true podcast of Doom, though. That's
Right, yeah.
I was thinking. I was like, man, I should just sit down and come up with a bunch of questions about, what was it, Comic Book Dojo? Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
I should just come up with a bunch of questions about that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love that so much.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
really excited about
It is kind of ironic. Like that was the podcast of Doom. I feel like this
Right.
is more of the podcast of good vibes and happiness. But it's
Good.
kind of like
friendship
yeah.
and love.
Well, we just haven't gotten to the Doom section
Oh,
yet.
that's true.
So, yeah.
That's true. But
Yeah.
it's almost like an alternate story of that
Yeah.
podcast, because Kent actually did bring Zoe this time instead of Veronica. So
All right. So this is
True.
like this is
I don't know
Earth
if it'll.
2.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Earth 2, is that what you said?
Yep.
That's true.
Nice.
So you guys have you've got 3 out now, which is awesome. And then you're doing a season, right? You're doing a full season of these. So
Correct.
What's that looking like, or is it, how many episodes is it?
We're
That
gonna
kind
have
of thing.
7 episodes in this first season. Each one, about 15, 16, 17-ish minutes.
Yeah.
We're not too strict, but I want to at least try to have some sort of time, which is, the first episode was 12 minutes, and then the next one was if you look on YouTube, it's 17. It's whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Substantial increase in length there. But it's a labor of love. We're kind of filming it the wrong way,
Okay.
in the sense that we haven't, we're shooting right now episode 4. Usually if this was a legitimate paid for production, we would have dedicated a whole 2 months or so to just shooting everything. Unfortunately, that just doesn't work with everybody. So in episode 3, Jake is going to have a much thicker beard than he did in episode 2.
It was significantly different.
It was significantly more
Bushy.
thick, more lumberjack. So no, I even asked him, I was like, hey, would you like to trim that up? No. Just in his deadpan, Jake.
Would you like
No, absolutely not.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always think back to was it the original Evil Dead movie where I forget names at this point. The blonde guy
The blonde guy.
The blonde guy, yeah.
Anyone who's not Ash shouldn't,
Right,
get,
exactly.
shouldn't get a name.
Just that guy.
Not Ash.
The man who was not Ash
It
in
was
the
probably
movie.
somewhere around the beginning of the third act or something.
Right.
Different shirt.
Yep.
His hair was a different length.
Different haircut.
right.
It might have been They may have been shooting on a different camera. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, oh, it's like a little startling for a moment.
Yeah.
And like, it's fine.
That's what makes it scary.
That was scene to scene. We're talking episode to episode.
Yeah.
You're fine. Who knows how long it.
So, assuming that all goes well, we're hoping that the last episode, episode 7, would be out by November, October, somewhere in there. So, we're doing our best.
Yeah. So
If it's out in December, you'll know that things are not going well.
Yeah, exactly. You know that someone quit, and like all of a sudden, Kent is played by a blonde guy.
Kent is played by April.
Yeah.
and being an audio nerd, I noticed that there are moments where the audio is like super clean, and I'm like, they ADR'd that probably, because I've done field audio before, and it's just really tough to get it to sound really good, really clean.
What does that mean for people who don't know?
ADR is when you
Like
go
me.
in and you re-speak your dialogue
Correct.
into a microphone in a studio.
It stands for after done recording.
After
is that
done,
what it is?
after done.
Is it really?
No.
Terrible grammar.
I would love it if that were true.
I should just stayed with it.
Just stay with it. Yeah.
I've always known I've known the phrase ADR, but I don't actually know.
We never told them what it meant.
What is it audio dialogue replacement or something?
Wow, that sounds
like
a lot better.
Sounds right.
Sounds better. Yeah. Let's go with that.
I should really know this because I've done that
Wikipedia
before.
is to be believed. I think that is true.
So that being said,
There was a point to all this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys are like really doing it right.
Yeah.
I mean, like if it
Thank
doesn't
you.
sound great on set, then you go back and you replace it.
Yeah.
So
And that's all Caleb Songer. I'm going to give him a nice little
sure, a downtown recording. Right?
shout out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
and
where
he's the one that goes.
Yeah.
Right?
He shrugs a bunch.
I shrugged everyone.
Yeah.
And I did a thing with my mouth where it kind of stretched in one direction.
I want him to be in every episode but never say anything. I think that would be amazing.
I love all the visual comedy on this podcast. You don't see that enough. I think.
You don't see it.
Yeah, you never do.
Right.
Yeah, he does really good job, and he gets a lot of it right there. On the shoot, during the shoot, there's only a few things that we do have to go back in ADR, and I don't think you've ever had to actually go
I've
back
never
in.
had ADR or anything.
April can brag about that.
And did you say you were the trained actor in
That's
the group?
right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious.
Usually
Got
the first
college degree and everything.
first take April is what they call her.
There you go.
To be fair, I also have a college degree in theater. I'm just not doing anything with it. So,
Touche.
We should. Oh, you want to have like an acting battle one day?
I absolutely do.
Let's do it.
I'm in.
I don't know any monologues.
We could set up a radio play here, and we could
yeah.
just make car crash noises when
You know,
things happen.
some people
Whatever.
actually do video podcasts, which
Right.
I say call it something else. Right?
Right, yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I
But
guess a
how does
broadcast can be
like what is?
Video cast.
podcast, broadcast.
What does that even mean?
Airwaves.
Yeah,
I
where
don't know
does
what
the
that
pod
means.
come from?
Is it iPod? Is
It's
that what it
the
means?
iPod, yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's like you get it on iTunes. So
And I guess you
like
have-
a broadcast you listen to on your iPod.
Yeah.
Right?
podcast.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's what I always.
Right.
That's
And I
just
mean,
an
I
assumption
guess
on
you
my
have
part.
video iPods, so you could do.
Yeah,
True,
but that there's a problem with that.
I mean,
as
if we're
well.
talking terminology, right?
yeah, we're talking.
That's what we're doing. Yeah.
That's what we're doing. That's where this is. This is where.
That's
this is
why
where
we
we're
invited
going.
them here
This
to
is-
talk terminology about podcasts. Wait. One question. As long as we're talking about ridiculous things,
Sure.
One question I wanted to ask you all. There's a scene where it's early in the morning. I think it's episode 2. Yeah, episode 2, where it's early in the morning, and Kent, you're trying to get into the store.
Yes.
And then at the last minute, you're dropping the keys. April pulls you inside. Is that an Evil Dead reference, or is that not? Because I sense a lot of Sam Raimi going on.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just don't know.
Well, I think Sam Raimi and Edgar Wright, like,
oh yeah.
I think they'd
They're-
get along pretty
they make
well.
I
interesting
think they're the
They would.
same
Yeah.
person.
Right. See, and because of the obscure references, my eye was just primed for it. I was like, "What is that? Is that something?" But it's like Arrested Development. You're just always unsure.
I think that's. I mean, I may have been pulling from those. I can't really
you
say.
could say no. That's fine.
I'm gonna say no, but like no.
That was actually a stupid question.
I thought it through, and I consciously decided it wasn't a reference.
But that's one of the big things that I love about the series is you get to try something different each episode. Like the first, like at its core, it's funny things happening at a comic book store.
Yeah.
But for the second episode, I was like, I want there to be a lot of like horror elements, like just the scary movie stuff. So like you have the nightmare scene at the beginning, and then Kent trying to get into the store, and like Sonic guy Steve is getting ready to do Lord knows what to him, which is me.
Yeah.
So there's just like a lot of like scary horror elements in the second episode, and then like the third episode, once we knew like it was kind of going to just be like two main locations the whole time, I wanted to do like a car scene at the beginning, and like that was my first time ever shooting anything like in a car. Might be the last, but
that's
but it ended up looking pretty good. But it was
bumpy
hot
and noisy.
Yeah, it was hot in there, and then Kent was. You mind if I tell them about your expired tags?
I think the answer was in the question there.
You did.
Accidentally let it slip. But yeah, he was like, Kent's usually like on point with everything, but he was super nervous that day because we're breaking a lot of traffic laws just by having the sound guy like laying down in the back of his car, and me almost in Veronica's lap, and then you got expired tags, and we're driving up and down this like this nice suburban neighborhood all afternoon. But you get to try different things each episode, so being able to either parody them or we'll say parody instead of rip it off. It sounds a little bit more endearing. So
and that was actually going to be one of my questions, like the episode 2 with the horror elements, like it kind of reminded me of the scene in Raimi's Spider-Man 2 where Doc Ock's arms just kind of have a mind of their own. It's so like the like it's such a scary movie. It's like a scary movie.
You all should have seen him. His face was contorted in fear.
It was. I'm very scared. But my question was going to be like, was that a goal to kind of like try and capture different genres inside of such a? I mean, it's just a funny show at a comic shop, but I mean, you can do so many things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I mean, that's kind of, I feel like that's sort of the bread and butter, is like we have the ability to either put the characters in weird situations that would parody like any situation, or we've kind of made it clear that Kent's character has a vivid imagination, and we'll have like the fun cutaway gags of him putting down flowers in Crime Alley, which did you all notice?
Right.
Did you all notice the alley? No, did you all notice where that was shot?
Oh, was that here?
It was here.
Okay, I wasn't
right behind this studio.
No way.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend watched it. I was showing it to her for the first time the other day, and I was like, I didn't go back and watch it, but for a second I was like, those trash cans? That looks like a brick street. Like, was that where that was? Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't. Like, I walk by that every day, and I didn't pick it up. I was just like, with like the peek around,
the corner.
Like, you just really studied that scene.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, yeah.
It was spot on.
That is one that we actually storyboarded.
The beret was fantastic. It was great.
I was like, okay, he pulls it with his right hand. I remember watching Michael Keaton's hands to try to like. I remember us shooting that, and I was like, they told us what we were gonna do. I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited.
Oh yeah,
and it's so beautiful.
One of the rules of this first season is just when in doubt, rip off '89 Batman.
Yes, it's such a solid start.
It is. Yeah.
Who do you trust?
Money.
Hubba hubba hubba, money. Oh man.
I'm gonna be waiting. I'm gonna be waiting for every ridiculous moment in that movie. Right. To be
Oh, there's plenty.
Right. There's plenty. Another thing that you guys do very well. I don't know how intentional it is, because I know how things come together in the editing room, in the editing process. But there are so many moments where certain bits of silence just pay off so well. There's the moment with the Teen Dog? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, I
my
relate
God.
to that.
Oh my God.
I could watch that. Like I put that little part on repeat, and then also the part where Sonic grabs his comic book with his arms backwards.
Yeah.
It's like those moments pay off so well.
Yeah.
And I guess is that something you kind of envisioned beforehand, or is that something you find in the editing process?
The one with Teen Dog, that was something we found in the editing process, because we went ahead and filmed it, and I was thinking, in my mind, I was like, this could be a fun Easter egg at the end of the credits. But with the original ending, with just Jake kind of saying, Veronica's comic store Anthrax, it was funny, but it just didn't have that stinger, that punch that you wanted for just like the last thing that you see in this first episode. So then I was like, well, we never really go back and see what Adam's doing at the front of the store, because he's supposed to be back at the register. And
they
made fun of Teen Dog earlier. And I know Kent's biting at the bit to tell you all about Teen Dog here in a second.
I was going to ask someone to, because
I'll let him go. But we basically we saw that, and I was just like, that's got to be the ending there. And with Sonic Guy Steve, I knew from the beginning, with Zach Cooper, we had so many video game sound effects that we ripped off, and it wasn't 100% this is cool to do this sort of thing, but we wanted to be different and bagged and board, and I was like, no, there's not going to be, I'll make the sound effects myself, because you had that epic build up. And then they're just immediately, it's, everybody except Kent is let down by this fact that their only customer.
He's going to go get an Egg McMuff.
Yeah.
I love that line so much.
That coin just for a little awkward amount of time. And then the dance. Out of frame and static. Oh, God, it's so good.
But Kent does have a funny story about Teen Dog.
Teen Dog. Well, what happened was we were setting, because, it's the beginning scene, it's just Jake taking the comic books that this person has selected and making fun of him. So we just kind of grabbed a bunch of goofy things off the wall. There's an Aquaman comic book, and then we saw this one that was called Teen Dog, and it has what as Jake refers to it, he just looks like Poochie from The Simpsons. It's just a dog on the skateboard and sunglasses called Teen Dog. And
so
we're
90s.
And we're,
90s.
and it's this is the dumbest thing possible. We have to. We include that, and so we threw the Teen Dog up, and then and then the nice thing about spending long days shooting in a comic book shop is I can just hang out and read comics when I'm not on camera.
Brian Barrow doesn't love that, but
I started reading Teen Dog. It's phenomenal. I'm not kidding. It's hilarious. It's just so it's just a bunch of vignettes of this teen dog being the coolest dog around. And he's just super positive about everything, and it's actually legitimately really, really funny.
That's amazing.
I just started being really enthusiastic about Teen Dog, and so I don't know if that what led to us including, because now we started including Teen Dog a lot more.
I don't know. I just felt like it got such a good response from Sean Keller doing that at the end,
right,
that I was just like, this has to be Adam's favorite comic from now on.
Yeah.
And that's why in episode 3 he shows the new comic what he's trying to recommend to Mark, and he's just like, it's got a teenage dog in it.
That wheeze he does.
Yeah. It's so great.
He's so good.
And it's
everyone's so good. I'm still being a part of it. I'm just so excited about what everybody's doing. It's such a great collaborative spirit, and everyone's so good, and everything is it's so well done. And I love it. I am a big fan of the show. Being a part of it, I want to talk about how awesome it is.
Yeah. It's because when you do zero budget films and stuff, you're used to accepting a certain level of when you show your family and stuff it's gonna be, but this it's cool because everyone who performs in it's amazing, and it's so cool for the production value side of it to match that or exceed it even, because that's when I show it to my family and friends and stuff, it's cool to keep hearing consistently oh God, it looks so good, with the limitations on the budget that we have, that they are able to make it look and sound as cool as it does.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Yeah.
inspiring to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. There's nothing about the show that if you're showing it to family or friends or something, there's nothing that, I can imagine you would have to be like, oh, well, it's kind of overlooked this. Or It's like you can just be like, nope, it's badass. Here you go. Like, it's awesome.
And another funny thing about the Teen Dog comic. Well, not about that comic specifically, but there is the thing about like walking into a comic shop and feeling like the guy behind the desk might judge you a little bit for what you're getting. There was I was really into Gail Simone's Batgirl run.
Oh, sure.
And I just liked her writing. She's a good writer. And they made the switch over to like the new kind of teeny bopper Batgirl, and that was on my pull list. It actually still is. So each time it's that time for that. I just haven't gone in like take it off because I just don't much like it. But I still have to go up to the counter and they're like, "Here's your new young girl Batgirl comic," and it's just that like I feel like I should explain myself, but at the same time like whatever.
You're just like I'm here to get my pull. I'm here to pick up my comics.
Yeah.
I say this a lot, but like it's like that's what's cool about the Destination is they are nothing like the way we the dysfunctional lunatics that we portray on the show. They're like the coolest. Yeah, that's where I get all my comics, and my pull list is like Teen Dog's in there. Is legit in my pull list.
You guys seriously read Teen Dog.
I can't
seriously.
Take anything away from this.
you walk
We
away
thought
with
you were
nothing
promoing
else.
Bagged and Board.
No. I'm here.
Teen Dog.
I'm here for Teen Dog. But no, Teen Dog, Ms. Marvel is on my pull list.
Right.
Like, there's,
Dude, that's actually a really
That's
good
good.
book.
it's great. Yeah. And there's no, you don't get that sense of like, this is girl stuff that you might. They're very like cool nerdy people who are just like whatever you're into. They're like, hey, great. It's a really cool, positive environment.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
We should go.
We should probably.
should. Yeah.
We've been there a few times, but not,
I've been there once, but it's just one of those things where it's less convenient as far as the part of town.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
But at some point, like if you get to know like just a really good like shop owner and stuff like that,
Right.
Yeah.
like
Right.
it's worth the drive.
And Brian and Evan are just fantastic. I mean, and we're not just saying that because they let us film in their store.
No,
We were friends and stuff before that they let us,
Yeah,
and it was just really cool that it all kind of worked out. And in fact, Kent can probably just quote the commercial because he was in their commercial that I filmed.
I did. Yeah,
so he can tell you exactly where it's located.
I played not Stan Lee, but obviously Stan Lee for a commercial for them. Yeah, it's across from across the street from Shelbyville Road, across from all St. Matthews, behind D's Crafts. But yeah, they've always been really cool. Just like even before they started their comic book shop, they would always come to stand-up shows and be really supportive. So when they started their comic book shop, I'm like, oh, you guys are starting a small business right now, huh? In a place that's hard to find. Like, we really wanted those of us who are comedians and also nerds really wanted to go and support them, and they're doing really well now.
Yeah,
and,
great.
And I could, like, Brian's so awesomely enthusiastic about everything. Like, I can totally hear him say to you, oh, yeah, if you ever want to use a comic book shop for he's just that kind of guy. He's just really enthusiastic about everything.
And that was actually one thing we made sure in the script because we weren't sure, if we should rename the comic book store something else. Like, we were like, was it going to be like, something generic like Comic Book World, kind of Alado Comics from Rocco's Modern Life or something. But we're just like, let's not try to hide it. It's the destination. And like, that way we don't have to like Photoshop in some new sign out front or anything like that. Like, and people might think it's cool to go to the destination because that's where Jake and Kent can insult them.
I really think there should be a day where Jake is just there making fun. I think that would be amazing.
If you did that on the sly, that would make somebody's like year. They're walking, that guy was there. I swear.
That guy was so mean to me. He made me cry.
Well, like the first few times that we were filming in there, and then we eventually realized, hey, we should film when nobody's in the store. But like Kent and Jake will be up there behind the counter, and somebody will come in and like, of course, so like, whoever's working that day is like we can't have you behind the counter, so please go to the back of the store or someplace else. So then, like, as soon as somebody comes in and, like, actually wants to buy something, like, Jake or Kent have to kind of be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not an employee, I just play one in the show. You may have seen the camera, so, like, they probably think they're getting punked or something.
I just play one on TV.
Yeah, I just play one on TV. Let me get you the real, manager here. Let me go grab him from the back.
Yeah, speaking of working or filming in a real comic shop, in episode 2, the ripped comics. Whose comics are those?
Caleb had a box of old comics that he was just going to get rid of.
Okay.
And
nice.
It turned out, like, we looked through them, like, because he was like, hey, if anyone wants these, like, I'm just going to trash them. And, we were looking through them, and I was just like, you know what? We are filming a series that involves comic books. I'm 95% sure we're going to need some comic books at some point that, like, we have to actually, like, destroy or do something to.
Yeah.
So
make sure the comics are still made of paper.
Right, yeah.
I love it when she licks it.
Yeah, right.
She's testing.
So that's why you're seeing, like, an old Simpsons comic that I think
was
that's what it
Radioactive
is.
Man.
Yeah, Radioactive
Oh,
Man.
nice.
Yeah, she's messing up that.
I used to have that issue. They do a parody of Watchmen. It's great.
Oh, great.
Oh, that's
man.
amazing.
Too bad it's all ripped
Maybe
up.
don't
now.
rip that one up. That sounds awesome.
Do you have the rest of it?
Yeah.
But, like, speaking of the destination and them letting you film there and everything, there's a scene, or even maybe just a shot in episode 3 that I was like, wow, they're, like, going all out. It's when he's looking for I've only seen it at the premiere, so I don't remember exactly what he's looking for in the ducts. But
the source of the
right.
curdled almond milk smell.
Right,
Yes.
right, and spoilers, but
It's out on YouTube. Everyone
right,
can
exactly.
watch it.
Yeah, go
it's all
watch
out
it.
now.
Pause this, go watch it.
Get
come
over
back.
yourselves, listeners.
This podcast would be great if it wasn't for all the listeners. But just kidding. Stay where you are.
Nice.
Don't press the pause button. All right. But where he falls through the roof,
Yeah.
right? I mean, first of all, you were standing right there, right?
I was standing right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It was less intense filming it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Movie magic.
Okay.
Post movie
I have
magic.
no idea.
There's some magic.
This guy probably can come up with 4 solutions to doing that. I have none.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like a person dropped through the roof right now.
So long as we fooled the target audience.
Yes. Yes.
You
Idiots everywhere have no idea.
simple-minded young man over here.
What do you think we did, Joe?
Oh,
Put you
I
on the-
like this.
I'll
I
put you
like
on the
it.
spot. I'm going to ask you a
here's
question.
the thing.
I like it.
Here's the thing. It fell through the roof.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble visualizing. I think that was one of the moments where I was like, kind of laughing, like kind of this.
Yeah.
I do this thing.
Oh, so you missed it.
I remember it happening. I remember seeing it, but I don't remember like examining it. So maybe we should pause and I should examine it.
Yeah, you can go
Right.
frame by frame.
Yeah.
Give him 1 hour
Yeah.
with the video.
Well,
So how'd you do it?
Well, that was our very first green screen shot in Bagden Board. We've avoided it so far, but we were like, well, we're
It's
not
time.
really going to have Sean Keller fall from the ceiling
Right.
because A, he'd get hurt, but B,
Right.
I don't think Brian would like it either.
But back to my amazing acting skills.
Oh,
I'm
right,
selling
right.
how
Yes,
I
yes.
fell through this. No,
Yeah.
It was really like there was a human
right?
falling beside
yeah,
you.
I
Right,
totally.
yeah.
So I had no idea what it was going to look like in the end. He was just like, "Oh, someone's going to fall through. Just like react." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay." I thought it looked great though. I thought it turned out amazing.
Yeah.
Aaron Patterson did that for us. He did a lot of the visual effects on Zach Cooper, and the first 2 episodes we wanted to, we kind of wanted to get away from, like, not every episode's going to have like elaborate, like, whoa in your face, like that was crazy, that happened, but this one we felt like it needed that extra something, especially since, like, again, me as like a filmmaker, when I was just like planning it out, I was just like, wow, it's just them talking at a table, and like then we cut back to, it's just like 2 locations the whole time, and so I'm like, I hope no one gets bored. And then I was like, well, if they do, we'll just have someone fall out of the ceiling. That'll wake them up. So I think there's a lot that happens in that episode. It was kind of our episode where we realized after the first 2 that filming the entire episode at the destination is rough, especially when everyone's there. So you'll notice that we kind of learned from that and like kind of moved a few things around in the script, and we were like, well, let's have everybody's kind of going to be separated in this, because that's the other thing that you have to worry about with no one getting, paid to be there. So you have to like work around everyone's schedule. So it's like, hey, Kent and Taylor, are you free this one day to film the podcast portion? So then, we just need that portion of the cast, but then everything that happens back at the store just involved April and Sean. So it was a lot easier to kind of break it up as opposed to, all right, everybody needs to be here and we're staying until 3 a.m. until we get it right.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot. Would you agree that episode was a lot more?
It was so much easier.
Yeah, you were out of there. You were out of there before noon. You were like, "This is great."
Yeah, it was fantastic. As opposed to waiting on Jake to finally say some lines that are coherent and usable before we can shoot my scene.
It's a new experience for the sound of Kent's laughter to not make you furious. Kent laughed during the taking it. I guess this is going to take longer.
Yep, just keep going. I already said my lines right.
So, your character's name is Zoe, which is not your real name.
That is true.
Correct,
Your character's name is Kent, which is your real name.
My character's name is Kent Carney, which is my real first and
Which
last
is your
name.
real name. I just noticed you mentioned Kent's laughter. Verbatim. So I'm just curious if you use that excuse to be able to talk about yourself in the third person pretentiously, because it's there. The opportunity is there. If you're not, you should.
I
That's
should.
What I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right. Originally the
That's brilliant.
Ken doesn't like that idea.
Yeah, and then they're just like, does he mean he probably just did? Yeah, and then I would get away with it. Yeah, that's
Is
right.
he a douchebag? I can't tell.
I like that. Originally, I believe my character's name was supposed to they were going to reveal that Kent's full name is Kent Clark.
Okay.
Which I like. And if you look on the, there's still, when it shows the email from the ex-girlfriend, you can see my email address is Kent Clark is really my name at Gmail.
Oh, nice.
Gee, I didn't even notice that. Man. Nobody's supposed to read that email.
That's going under goofs in the IMDb page.
No.
Yeah, so But then he was like, "Let's just call you Kent Carney. That's easier." And I was like, "Whatever."
But remember, I was actually going to make it 2 Ks.
That's
like
what I
it was
thought,
going to be.
Oh,
Kent,
that's right. That's right.
And then I was just
forgot the
Kent
mini
Carney with a K.
Yeah, I was
That's
like-
right.
I was just
And I was like, all right.
This is going to be too confusing. We're going to misspell it eventually again at some point. I was like, you're just going to be like Jerry Seinfeld. You're going to be Kent Carney.
I like it.
Nice. Yeah.
But everyone else has different names. Except Jake.
But Jake is just Jake.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Madonna.
Oh, right.
There's no last name.
We're not-
Right.
He doesn't have a last name yet. Yeah.
So who chose the font of the email?
Oh, that was Craig. He went with Comic Sans.
That was good. That was good.
It's so totally just like it reveals like this tone that you know what to expect when you see Comic Sans.
Just infuriates you even more. Like, oh man, she can't be a nice person because she used Comic Sans.
Like she had to change that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She made a choice.
That was her choice.
Oh, that's brilliant.
The characters are so layered, man.
I would say, like Jake. When you say Jake's is the closest to the actual person,
So he's really just a douchebag.
would that be wrong to say?
I would say that Jake. That bagged and board Jake is an exaggeration.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, he'll just be like, Jake, I love Jake. He's awesome. But he is that guy who'll be like, look, John Mellencamp sucks. And you'll mention John Mellencamp in passing. He's like, no. Let's talk for 90 minutes about how John Mellencamp sucks.
That's so funny.
And he does incorporate a lot of elements of the Fatal Fetal Female,
Yep.
the comic book that his character
an actual
invents.
comic that
That's
he
a real thing that he wrote. That he's currently working on. And it's great. I love him. He really does. He throws in that line, I think in the first episode, about how there's no greater comic book than Grant Morrison's Animal Man run. And he truly believes. That's a true from the heart Jake thing. And it's great.
And then, and so, what about your character? Like, how do you feel about yours? Because I know you're not like a heartbroken,
no, man,
angry maniac person.
I'm pretty much the we both other than a love of references.
Right.
I feel like we couldn't be more opposite. I feel like I have a pretty healthy view towards women.
But in this series,
You're suggesting your character doesn't in
I
some
don't
way.
know. No, he's
You're
like,
hired.
Kent, don't email me. Well, if your ex-girlfriend tells you not to email her anymore, just don't email her anymore. Like, I feel like that's a no-brainer. But he's very he's prone to outbursts of anger. My self-loathing and anger is a lot more internal, and a lot more. All my rage is like just internally,
Just causing
directed.
a cancer in his soul.
Yeah. It's a very different way to deal with it. And but also, to be fair to Kent Carney, he owns a business. Which I do not. I aggressively do not.
Well, though, he was really excited they sold one comic, Sonic the Hedgehog
Yeah,
comic
it's true.
book,
He's
so
not good. He's a
New
bad.
comic book day and
He
everything.
was really
Yeah.
pumped. So.
We didn't say he was a good business.
Right,
That's true.
exactly.
Yeah.
It just technically he is.
He owns it.
So he's adulting on a level that maybe I'm not necessarily. So
So, April, what about your character versus you? I mean,
I think attitude-wise, there's a lot of similarities.
Okay.
I think like more, job, what she's into, maybe a little bit less. But I think, I definitely have some feminist edge to me, which I think is coming out quite a bit. Just kind of not wanting to take people's shit, I think is kind of my...
You're also kind of the voice of reason in this whole, Kent obviously kind of lets his emotions get the better of him. Adam is just kind of an island to himself. Like I really feel
we all know that.
I really feel like Zoe is actually kind of making the business still, like making sure that the destination is actually still in business. Like I feel like Kent
But he
would,
doesn't want to take her to a podcast.
exactly. Yeah, Kent, like that's
Because I'm trying to get laid, son.
when you're playing Zoe, you do have this great like what the hell face that I love every time it shows up.
you.
I'm like, yep, that's awesome.
I feel like I'm becoming a little bit known, at least among the cast, for the facial expressions. Jake keeps making like memes, like stills from the show, and so he just did one. That was a Serpico reference.
He called it Derpico.
Derpico.
Oh, that's amazing.
He did one that was like a 4-scene shot of like me like smiling like maniacally. It looks like when you just grab it out of nowhere. That turned into like a whole Facebook thing. So.
And then
That's awesome.
I do want to mention Taylor's character real quick, which is Veronica Bloom. Taylor in real life, like I think she's probably closer more to Zoe than April might be, just because she. Not saying that you probably don't draw or anything, but like. She's actually like drawing, like she draws kind of manga style, or maybe I take that back. She has learned recently to draw manga style for some upcoming episodes for your character. So instead of being like, April, could you learn? Because she's very artistic, and I was just like, would you be able to do kind of emulate the manga style? And then she sent me some like sketches, and I was like, yeah, this is what we need. So I'm not putting this out there that maybe she gets a lot more of the references or whatever, but she's definitely
she
not
probably
as
does.
Yeah, but she's definitely not as dumb as she is.
Oh, of course.
Some of the angles you choose for her expressions, these like it's almost like a really wide lens, like really close up. And she just makes those faces.
Well, definitely when I was like in the car, like I was just like, well, there's no way about this, Taylor, but like these might not be the most flattering images. Like you might, it might be right up your nose or something, but it's gonna work. It's gonna look
sell
great.
The character.
It's gonna sell the character. And just the fact that she's unique. I don't know. And the fact that Kent's really captivated by her, and she thinks that the reason that Wolverine is called Wolverine is because he's a mix between a wolf and tangerine.
Which I didn't know. Which I love that line, but what I didn't realize until watching it a couple times is that like we're having that pops up like April and I are having an intent, this
That's
in-depth
serious
conversation about
conversation.
she's like, I don't think Taylor, I don't think Veronica's going to work out. I'm like, no, Veronica's fine. Well, you think she's like, we're talking about her, and then like it pans over and she's standing right there, completely oblivious. Wolverine. It's so fun.
I have to say though, I am really like digging the development of that character, just the progression that I've seen. Because like she is like the character is kind of dumb, but there's this confidence that I think sells it so well, and that she's not dumb in the way that she's going to be taken advantage of. She just kind of doesn't know this world.
She's
she
actually
cares
trying.
about
She's actually
what she
trying.
cares about.
Right,
And,
exactly.
And doesn't, nothing
So
else.
I think it's like I feel like I've heard from a couple of different people like some flack about like dumb blonde character, but I don't think that it's your standard dumb blonde, and I feel like it's like at another level.
Yep.
Right.
So I just wanted to like defend that for a second. So.
She needed a job. She went out and got herself a job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She has
At a
goals.
toy store.
Yeah, no, it's
Wearing a Harry Potter shirt.
That was great, by the way. The Flash shirt, the Harry Potter.
yeah.
That's wonderful.
Oh yeah, she delivers the no Beyonce.
No, Beyonce.
Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah. But no, I totally agree. It's not like you don't the weird thing about character Kent and that character is not that she's dumb and character Kent can do so much better. It's that they're just not they don't have anything in common.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
just not she's pretty and that's his deal.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So
It's purely that whole thing of the nerd chasing the cheerleader because he's been told by pop culture that that's
Right.
That's
That's
how
the
it
end game,
turns
yeah.
out.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So are we going to see? Are we ever really going to see or meet Josie, or is that spoiler alert?
Maybe we're obviously like I didn't really want there to be too much continuity between episodes. Like you gotta watch the next one, gotta watch it right away to see what happens next. And by all means, if that's how you feel, awesome. But
But don't, but keep watching them.
please,
Like,
please.
We don't want you to be enthusiastic about it.
just edit that part out.
Watch it, don't watch it. We don't give a shit.
The sun's gonna burn out in like billions of years. What are you?
But at least with
way to
this,
sell it, Matt.
sorry guys. At its if I were to describe what Bagden Board is, it's just like things happening at this comic book shop. It's a comedy and things happen at this comic book shop, but at its core you see that there is obviously some conflict with Kent and his ex-girlfriend Josie. That's right at the beginning, and it has been mentioned in every episode since, and that's one of the things that really tick him off. Like that really sets him off is when anyone mentions her. So she's almost kind of like your Dr. Claw type supervillain that we may or may
I
not
like it.
see.
But
We'll see. I feel like I do feel like she is somewhat, at least in his mind. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's a completely reasonable human being. But like in Kent's mind, I feel like she is definitely kind of the supervillain of this arc.
Yeah.
And we'll see if that comes to pass. So.
Yeah, and we haven't found out what the incident is yet.
Correct,
Right?
yeah.
I don't know the incident.
Right.
Do we know what the incident is yet either?
I know what the incident is. Do you know what
It's very much a Lost thing where we have these intricate mysteries.
Yeah. So there will be a polar bear. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Coming up. Yeah. A lot of intrigue. There'll be the others.
Yeah.
And
we'll figure it out in season
hatch.
6.
Yeah. Exactly.
We know
promise
exactly what we're doing.
We promise they're not dead the whole time. Guys, that's actually pretty good. You want to say they were dead the whole time? Yeah, that's all right. Fine.
We
Yeah,
just
dead the
said
whole
it
time.
wasn't that, so they won't think
Well, technically not the whole time.
Right.
Correct.
The whole last season.
the whole last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoilers
Still
for
watching
Lost.
on Netflix or Hulu or whatever.
Actually, I never did finish Lost. I should probably.
Oh well, spoilers.
Yeah, we did just spoil you there.
Yeah, well, a show about here's my thing about Lost.
I knew you were going to defend Lost. I like Lost too, but I knew it was happening.
It's not the destination,
Right.
friends.
Oh.
It's the
Oh,
it's
the
journey.
destination. Can you hear that?
Oh.
And Bagged and board, it is the destination. The destination is the destination.
Yeah, of all
That's meta.
things pop culture and back and board.
So one question I had that I definitely wanted to ask is, whose apartment are we seeing? Because whoever it is has a Mask of the Phantasm poster, and I'm really, really proud of them. Whoever that is.
That is Craig Williams.
That's great.
Our
That's
co-writer and casting
great.
director. And he also makes an appearance in episode 3 as the dude in the yellow shirt that is buying a comic book.
Yeah.
And basically mistakes Zoe for Adam.
Yeah. It's like,
Well,
I think it's really great that Veronica works here. It's nice to have an attractive nerdy girl working at a comic store.
See you later, Adam.
Jake,
Screw you guys.
Jake gets whenever he watches that episode, he always gets so tickled at the fact that Craig doesn't have a dining room table.
Right, yes. Did you all notice
Like there's
that?
the dream sequence.
Yeah.
And then we're eating dinner, and then when I wake up and I pan over to make sure, everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
There's no dining
There's
room
no
table.
table.
That's part of the dream.
Only in your
Yeah.
dreams.
Yeah.
Only in your dreams do you have a dining room
Like
table.
a nice dining area, like a
Yeah. Nope, just
Yeah,
nothing there.
I love the prominent Mask of the
yeah,
Phantasm.
absolutely, absolutely. I was like, I need to know that person, like framed and everything, like, legit. Yeah, absolutely. So you guys also have awesome like artwork that opens every show.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I wanted to
That was
ask
a good-
about.
Yeah.
Good
because the artwork is so cool and
Thank
it's
you.
clearly custom made for you guys,
Sure.
right? So who's doing that, or tell us about?
We've had, 3 different artists so far. First was Ricky Henry, who he lives in northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I've done a few projects with him.
Sweet.
And I guess he quote unquote owed me one, and I was like, hey, do you want to do this first issue for us? Which, I knew he could pull off because he kind of has like a vintage style, and the first issue we wanted to be X-Men issue 1. And so he did that for us, and it was awesome. And then he does his own comic book called MMSBC, which sounds like a news channel.
Yeah.
But let me see if I get it right. It's Monster Management Security Bureau of Cincinnati.
Nice.
It's kind of like a
Nice.
Power Rangers parody. We have like a live action trailer on our YouTube if you want to kind of see
cool,
kind of
yeah.
what it's about. And then his artist illustrator is Chad Shodel. I hope I didn't botch your name, buddy. But he did the Walking Dead comic book cover for episode 2.
Cool.
And then Mark Paris did episode 3, which looked awesome.
Yeah.
He also makes a cameo. He's a stand-up comedian, but also just a really awesome graphic designer and artist. And he did the Podcast of Doom title card, which basically all these, of course, are loving homages to comic book covers
Yeah,
that already
sure.
exist.
Yeah.
And so we're working on the next one, which I won't spoil. And then your friend Harry
Harry Hickle.
Hickle, okay. Yeah, he's working on episode 5s, which is kind of more of a manga-inspired
Cool.
illustration.
I've seen the
you've
preview
seen it.
of it, and I want to have it hanging
Yeah.
on my wall. It's
Oh,
so
nice.
cool.
The one thing that we're working on is trying to have all these comic covers done by the time we're actually shooting, because we do have to go back and pick these up, because eventually we're going to run out of clever ideas to present them, and it's like at one point they just actually have to be there and ready in the scene. Like we actually have written that in. We're like, this person is holding the comic book, instead of like it's an overhead shot of the comic book and like Kent runs over it in the parking lot.
Right.
But we're kind of hoping that, we knew starting off that people probably wouldn't be too willing to provide art, pro bono for something they've never seen. And then hopefully now that they've seen it, they'd be like, well, heck yeah, I'll, donate to the cause or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're trying to work out something where if we go to a Comic-Con or whatever, that somehow we could sell these pieces of art and then but still be able to give a portion of that to the artist, that helped us out. But yeah, I'm loving it, because that's something that we wanted to do, because again, it's like, well, do we have some sort of highly stylized title each time, or do we just want to kind of do almost like Heroes style, where the title was in the actual scene,
right?
And that's what we wanted to do, and then we were like, each time it's got to be a comic book, because why not? That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
we let's see. I'm speaking into the future.
Right.
Our last episode,
There you go.
Yeah.
which
There it is.
hasn't been released yet.
Well, by the time
But
this
it
one's
will.
released,
By the
it
time
will
people
be
are
released.
listening,
Yeah.
When
like-
Marty McFly hears this.
right when Marty McFly hears
in the
this,
year
it will have-
2000.
it will have been out
Yep.
already.
Yikes.
But we
Like
we,
Kang the Conqueror jumping around in time.
we recorded an episode with Stephen Bowman.
Mhm.
He's a local comic artist
Oh, cool.
and writer. I don't know if you've seen his comic.
It's Astounding
called
Tales.
Astounding Tales, the Sidekick.
Yep.
But it's fantastic.
It
It's
is,
really
yeah.
good, quality stuff. Hit him up.
Yeah, we just might.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very good. He pencils, inks, and colors his comics. So
Oh,
And
excellent.
He
Yeah.
has like a booth at Derby City Comic Con, I think.
Yeah.
And so
Are any of you guys going to be? That was one thing I wanted to ask everybody is what do you have coming up, either in terms of Bag and Board or in terms of your individual things that you guys are doing? Like, we want to make sure to let everybody know about all that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, you
yeah.
mentioned Derby City Comic Con, and we will definitely be there.
Cool.
Pixel
Pixel Brain.
Brain will be
Cool.
there we'll be there both days. But on Sunday, I believe it is at 2:00. We will be having a screening of episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Nice.
And a special sneak peek at episode 4, which is going to be ridiculous.
I'm really excited.
But then after we show kind of if we get it done, we'll show it. But
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's so much going into this one that we're just going to only be able to show like a small portion because we don't want the episode to suffer just to put it
Yeah.
out there for just that one audience.
Yeah.
So we'll show us most likely a sneak peek of that, and then we'll have a Q&A with the cast and crew afterwards,
That's
which
exciting.
is always fun. So it'll kind of be like their first Q&A. And we've had one at Derby City Comic Con about 2 years ago for Zach Cooper, and it was a really fun experience. And I hope everyone asks just as fun, nice, informative questions that they did then. We might have to put some actual people out there to ask the right questions. So, I don't know.
I thought you were going to say
Alright.
bouncers. I thought you meant like
we'll do
you asked the
it.
wrong
We'll ask
question.
the question.
Maybe you guys.
Please, yeah.
Can you guys
Yeah, we'll
come
be
in and
there.
make sure that you ask
If
the
you
right
hear
questions?
this and then you see people who look like us, it's not us.
Yeah, just cut that
It's
out.
just
yeah.
interested parties.
No, but it should be a lot of fun. That's the main big one that we have coming up.
Yeah.
And then I know that you guys are always doing stuff here, just right in the backyard of Louisville.
I've got a couple plays coming up. Seminar at the Bardstown, which is comedy. It's going to be really good, really
Yeah.
strong cast, great director, great play. That opens June 11th. And then I'm doing 2 Lobbyists of Verona, which is Theater 502's Kentucky Shakespeare Community Partners project.
Oh, awesome.
That'll be in August. And then I'm a cast member of Star Wars in 60 Minutes or Less,
Nice. Great.
which is ongoing. I think we're going to try and do some stuff this summer. So if you hear about that, come check it out. It's amazingly funny. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where is that?
We do it. We've done it at the Bardstown several times. We've done it at Fandom Fest. We've
Okay.
done it at the Alley Theater.
Yeah.
So it's a traveling show. So
Cool.
wherever somebody wants us to do it, we're happy to do it.
Cool. So it'll be around in the summer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Ken's checking his calendar.
Yeah, Kent's looking at his calendar. I think I have something coming up.
No, because I
I like to pretend you were just texting.
April's talking about theater shit.
Angry Birds.
I host a stand-up comedy show. It's every 2 weeks, and that's why I wanted to get some of the dates.
Oh, right.
It's
Cool.
the next one is it's every other Friday. It's called the 789. 8 spelled ATE Hardy Hard comedy show.
That's an old school show.
Yeah. Sean Smith came up with that. It was originally the Young, Dumb, and Full of Comedy show, and we've kind of been trying to revitalize that show. And we came to the conclusion that we can't call it that anymore because most of us are in our 30s and aren't. While we may be dumb and full of comedy, we're no longer young. So that title doesn't. But
Well, it's relative.
It's relative,
Young is-
yeah,
young is
exactly.
relative.
the next one is May 29th, and according to my calendar, it's the 12th and the 26th of June.
Nice.
The next, and then also coming up those are at the Bardstown.
Cool.
Every other Friday, and then also at the Bardstown, June 5th and 6th, we're doing the roast of Harry Potter. I will be playing Harry Potter.
Nice. Nice.
Awesome.
It's pretty exciting. We do these roasts like once every month, once every 2 months. We'll as a group of comedians, a lot of whom are on the show.
Jake, Sean.
Jake.
I see
Sean
Cool.
is hosting as Gandalf. There's a lot of there's going to be
That's
crossovers between other fantasy characters. Jake Reber is playing Snape.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
that
great.
makes sense. Yeah,
That's
which
great.
I'm super excited about. Yeah, but yeah, it should be an amazing show.
That'll be awesome.
That's exciting.
Wait, when is that one again? Sorry.
June 5th and 6th.
Okay,
so in
cool.
like a couple weeks.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's coming up.
It's coming really soon. All right, let me ask this. Can we get Matt a one-word cryptic hint at episode 4? That's what I want. I
I know
want
the
one word
perfect
so that
one
we
word.
can
I'm
just be like,
curious.
I feel like you can get more mystery across with just or if you need a couple words, just a little phrase or whatever.
Will and his cryptic things.
Right? Yeah, right?
I could do 2 words.
Yeah, it's fine, whatever.
Or I could do 1. What do you
No,
prefer?
I mean, this is a very strict standard, but I'll allow 2 this time.
All right. Pog Club.
That's amazing.
Oh man,
You just got 20,000 subscribers. Not that many people listen to this, just the vibes you put off. Just that.
and he spake Pog Club. Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like when the little pirates are singing Yo Ho Ho in the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie just ripples out into the world.
Yeah, I mean, now that episode 3 is out, we do have like a very small snippet. Like we have like the little video annotations at the end, so you can get a very small sneak peek of what Pog Club might look like. And
Nice.
this episode is going to be crazy. That's
Awesome.
all I'm going to say. Crazy.
That's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that. Do you have any other questions, Joe, that you...
Probably.
Probably. I was telling Joe, I was like, I feel like we could do like an episode with each of these 3 people.
Yeah.
I know, we might have to do
So-
a part 2 at some point.
Yeah, hopefully you guys
That
can
would
come
be
back
awesome.
sometime. That would be
Yeah, we'd
so.
love that.
That would be so
Yeah.
fun. So, all right. Well, is this good for this one? Does that work? All right.
Such an
You're
official
not supposed to
ending.
ask that while you're
Just hit the
recording,
button.
but
Just hit the
We're at
button.
like an hour and 18 minutes. So.
right. So, okay. Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to?
Yeah. Exactly. Anything
Chat
else
about?
you guys want to say or push or? Any unpopular political views you wanted to yell about? Or no, I'm just kidding.
Teen Dog. Issues 1 through 8. Get it while you can. It's the
At
last.
the destination.
Yes,
Right.
get it at the
There
destination.
you go. I'm
I'm
actually-
swinging by tomorrow to pick up the very last issue of it. 'cause
I'm
it's only
waiting
runs-
for the trade. So
Well played. Well played. All right. Well, we'll try this sign off and see if it works. We never tell anybody about it, and then we always just try it. You done good, Joe?
you done good, Kent.
Oh, you done good, April.
You done good, Matt.
You done good, Will.
We all done good.
We all done
Yeah. All right. Everybody done good. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Here's the thing about Animorphs.